Previously on Cinema Therapy.
Just like your father. Lazy, arrogant.
People who've only seen the movies tend to land more on he's secretly a hero.
Yeah.
If you've read the books, you're like, no, he's an
He's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
But maybe underneath there's some caring and
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
of compassion. He doesn't want Harry to fail.
Everybody knows that he's the only person who knew what his arc was going to be, and he wouldn't even tell the directors. But we see in the last couple films some really bold acting choices. Let's take a look.
Run along, Wormtail.
He's just a boy.
I can't change the Dark Lord's mind. But it might be possible for me to help Draco.
Severus, swear to it. Make the unbreakable vow.
Take out your wand.
There's a bit more of romance novel cover boy there
For sure.
with the soft, feathery hair. And to me, that's a deliberate choice. Because we're building towards, especially for the films,
I will.
We're building towards a heroic end.
in the books, it's a tragic backstory. In the movies, it's definitely positioned as a heroic end.
Yeah.
Carry out the deed the Dark Lord has ordered Draco to perform.
I do think that in the books, it's a bit more of a sucker punch when he ends up having done all these heroic, brave things because they've gone so far into him being awful. It's less of a surprise in the movies because they play it differently, but no less rewarding. But here, we know he's a double agent or a triple agent, but for whose side?
Right.
Do you remember reading the books before we got the resolution and everybody was talking about like what's really going on, right? Mm-hmm. And so of course he kills Dumbledore, and again there's acting choices made in that scene that I think telegraph is too strong of a word, but it's less in the book it's very ambiguous, or even it felt more malicious.
It felt malicious, yeah.
Whereas in the movies, you definitely see the hesitancy and the regret and the remorse.
Yep.
And Dumbledore's pleas. In the book, I read it like, holy crap, Dumbledore's pleading for his life and Snape's not going to give it to him.
Right.
Like, at his lowest point, Dumbledore's actually begging and Snape. And, like, in the movies, it's very clear.
In the films, it's obvious that he's asking him to do it.
Please.
What do you think about Snape's relationship with Malfoy?
Interesting, because, the underlying bully is still there. He's not a particularly pleasant person.
Yeah.
But
He's much softer with Draco.
he's much softer with Draco, more encouraging. Part of that is being head of Slytherin House. So I was going to do a whole pitch about how this is Slytherin flavored popcorn, but then I realized Slytherin is green and silver, and this is blue and brown. It's blueberry muffin, whatever the hell. It tastes good.
It's delicious. I've got rainbow, honestly, because if I were at Hogwarts, I like to imagine in the Great Hall that they serve Trix, and rainbow flavor tastes a lot like Trix. No, it doesn't it?
No, this is Trix flavored popcorn.
Anyway,
It's magical.
Lisa'sPopcorn.com/cinema therapy. Look in the description below to see what the monthly deal is, and use our link and our code CTherapy to cash in on that deal.
Yeah, get a box with 6 flavors, and it'll show up every, month or so.
I think Severus sees in Draco who he wished he could have been
Who
in
he
school.
wanted to be. Mhm.
Yeah. And so he's trying to nurture and live vicariously through Draco.
Yeah.
That's my hot take on that. That's my quick thought. So of course he kills Dumbledore, and then we see later on when he has to let a teacher die to keep his cover. And Rickman plays it so well.
Yeah.
Severus, please. We're friends.
On the one hand, he very coldly lets it happen, but again, the acting choices is to show
The regret and heartache that's just below the surface.
And it's small enough that the other people at the table wouldn't see it, but we in the audience have a close-up.
We get
on
a
his face.
close-up.
Yeah, so we get to see it. Yeah,
Best magic trick in all of film. This right here.
I think
Not
they
this.
do
Alan
nail-
Rickman. This.
Alan
This-
Seawright.
Obviously.
At the beginning of Deathly Hallows 2, where he's watching the students march and everything, and That's played really well for ambiguity.
For sure.
What is he thinking? Because Rickman doesn't give us anything there, and I think that's deliberate.
It's very deliberate.
So we get through all of Deathly Hallows 2, and one thing I do love is how Severus plays Voldemort in both the books and the films.
Yep.
That he is just an expert at deception. He did it when he was on Voldemort's side, now he does it on Dumbledore's side, and that is his biggest strength, is that he can lie to anybody and make them believe him, which is also why people aren't sure, even in the Order of the Phoenix, is he on Dumbledore's side or is he on... I mean, the Order basically sides with him because Dumbledore believes him, but Harry's like, he could fool Dumbledore, he could fool Voldemort, he could fool anybody, but not me, because he's just a jerk to me.
Right.
And then we
I
get
know the real
to...
Snape.
At this point, if with your leave, we're just going to depart completely from the books and talk about.
Our show's called Cinema Therapy, not
Yes.
Literature Therapy.
So we will stop the book versus film debate and just talk about what we see on screen, because Harry's believed that Snape could deceive everybody but not him.
Yep.
And then, kind of poetically, in the last scene, Harry realizes that he's been deceived the whole time as well.
Oh no.
So Voldemort suck a snake on Snape.
Take them. Take them.
I love that Rickman plays
Give me something.
like there's a
Quick,
whole other
fall,
Snape
and-
we never saw and we never knew right here in his face.
Take them to the Pensieve. Look at me. You have your mother's eyes.
What's going on for you right now, buddy?
Man, Alan Rickman's performance is great. The score is phenomenal, but it's all down to Alan Rickman and Daniel Radcliffe just giving it 1,000%. And then, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, standing in the background, out of focus,
Yeah.
just crushing it.
Yeah.
And those are hard days on set. When you're doing a really emotional scene, when you're doing a death scene, it's tough because everybody has to be in that headspace for a long time, because you do it over and over one way, and then you turn around and you do it over and over that way, and it's hard work. That's where actors earn the money that they
Yeah, for sure. I approach Harry Potter as two different stories. It's like a multiverse. In one, Snape is an asshole
yeah
who absolutely hates Harry, full stop.
yeah
And that's the book version. There's a Snape variant over here. And because this isn't me. This is how Rickman plays it. When he says take them, you see in 3 seconds a man you never saw before.
right
And it's not just because he's dying. You see a man who feels deeply and cares deeply. And he's desperate for Harry to take these so that he can succeed.
yeah
And when he says, you have your mother's eyes, this variant of Snape in this universe, to me, loves Harry.
yep
Because he sees Lily in him, and he sees, even though he's been in denial about it, and even though he also sees James, and so it rubs in the wrong way, he sees Lily's kindness.
he's admitting to himself that there's Lily in there too. It's not just James.
Yeah. And to me, that is how Rickman plays it, and that is freaking beautiful. This episode is brought to you by Under Lucky Stars, which makes beautiful personalized star maps, showing the unique alignment of the stars in a place and time you choose.
So Snape probably would have chosen the day he met Lily, but I got this one for my wife for our anniversary.
Oh, that's the sky the night you guys got married.
And I got this one
For me?
for the day you decided to grace the world with your presence.
The day I was born?
Correct.
That's awesome. Did you know what Jonathan means, the name?
I don't.
It means God has given. So I'm literally God's gift to the world. You're welcome, world. And thanks, big guy.
You're welcome.
It's such a cool personalized gift. You can choose the location and time of a moment that's important to you, and then you can also choose from over 15 different designs. And add a special little message or title.
Under Lucky Stars' proprietary method of locating the stars are actually verified by NASA astrophysicists
Wow.
to ensure their accuracy.
I think it would pass muster even with Professor Sinestra.
That's probably true. Keeping our skies clear so that people can see the beautiful constellations is also very important to Under Lucky Stars.
That's why they support the International Dark Sky Association. What is that?
Well, the Dark Sky Association advocates for reducing light pollution from cities, streetlights, that kind of thing.
Oh, so you have like clear skies and you can see the constellations at
Correct.
night. That is
So you
very,
can
very cool.
See all of this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a huge fan of that. We have a lot of dark sky designated places in Utah because what we don't have a lot of is people. Well, there's a lot of people, but they're all in one little area, and then the rest of it's like naked.
Utah's getting jiggy with it. So go to underluckystars.com/cinematherapy and use the code
Cinema therapy.
for 10% off this unique gift to your loved one.
Take them to space, or show them some space. Give them space.
Just stop.
Space.
The final frontier.
Underluckystars.space.get some.
So now we get into the pièce de résistance, Snape's memories.
By the way, I feel like all of you out there are just taking my tears and then pouring them into your own Ponsieve. I don't know if that's an apt metaphor or not, but it sure feels like it.
You're just here going, take them to our fans.
Take them.
Take my tears. Every episode.
Every
Take
episode.
them. It always irked me that Lily has brown eyes at the beginning. But whatever. This whole sequence is masterful.
She's jealous. She's ordinary and you're special.
That's mean, Severus.
I love that they're not quite holding hands.
Yeah.
And to her, it could just be a friendship thing, but to him, it's, you know, first love. And my read on this is that Snape probably comes from an abusive home, and Lily's the first person who was ever truly kind to him.
That's what I was taking from it too.
Hi, I'm Lily.
Freaking James.
Just like your father.
Don't say a word against my father.
And I've met people who in high school and middle school were jerks and bullies, and they grow up well. So
Yeah,
I think James turned out okay, but
for sure.
It spoke of a boy born at the end of July.
Yes, but he thinks it's her son. He intends to hunt them down now, to kill them. Hide her. Hide them all. I beg you.
What will you give me in exchange, Severus?
Anything.
CG de-aging or makeup?
Little of both.
Harry, Mama loves you. Dada loves you. Harry, be safe. Be strong.
Said you would keep her safe.
Lily and James put their faith in the wrong person, Severus. Rather like you. The boy survives.
Doesn't need protection. The Dark Lord is gone.
The Dark Lord will return. When he does, the boy will be in terrible danger. He has her eyes. If you truly loved her,
no one can know.
I should never reveal the best of you, Severus.
I love that line, that I should never reveal the best of you.
Every day to protect the boy.
He possesses no measurable talent. His arrogance rivals even that of his father. And
You risk your life every day to protect the boy.
Word against my father.
James Potter, lazy, arrogant.
My father was a great man.
Your father was a swine. Drink the rest. It will contain the curse to your hand for the time being. It will spread, Albus.
How long?
Maybe a year.
I love that we see that it's not just a I owe you Dumbledore, like they're actually friends.
Yeah. Lord Voldemort has ordered the Malfoy boy to murder me. But should he fail, one should presume the Dark
Which is
Lord-
huge to Snape because he doesn't really have friends.
You must be the one to kill me, Severus.
Which makes this that much more heartbreaking when you consider it. Because he lost Lily, and now he has to kill the only true friend he
he's
has.
got.
Completely.
Which does make it pretty damn heroic
There will come a time
to do what's
Harry
necessary.
Potter must be told something. A part of Voldemort lives inside him.
So when the time comes, the boy must die.
Yes. Yes. He must die.
You've kept him alive so that he can die at the proper moment. You've been raising him like a pig for slaughter.
Don't tell me now that you've grown to care for the boy.
Accept Patronum.
Lily? After all this time?
Always. So when the time comes, the boy must die.
Yes. He must die. And Voldemort himself must do it. That is essential.
Never fails, man. We're silent. I remember seeing this in the theater, and the theater was completely silent.
You can hear a pin drop.
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe has talked about how he's very critical of his own acting in the Harry Potter films, and he only really feels like he nailed it in the last one. And one of my favorite acting choices in any movie ever is Harry coming out of the pensieve and then seeing where he is and just like staggering back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just how completely his world has been shook by what he just saw.
Yep.
Talk to me about Rickman's acting. Because for so long he was in Die Hard and Quigley Down Under and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was just the best, nasty, delicious villain there was, and that was
And like big, kind of over the top villain a lot of the time. And you know, he's not playing this small. He's getting at his Shakespearean trained roots here. He's going for the pathos. He's going for the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like the filmmaking is helping him out a lot, keeping him in slow motion when he's picking up Lily and pulling all the sound out and just living on those haunting, sad strings and all of that stuff.
Well, the song is Dumbledore's Farewell, which is from the end of Half-Blood Prince. And for the Deathly Hallows film, there's a different composer than there was there. And one thing I love about the Deathly Hallows score, especially the second one, is it knows when to step aside and let other composers contribute. Like at the end, you've got John Williams bringing it home, right? And here, instead of being like, no, I'm going to compose this moment, it's like, no, we already have the best.
We have the best moment for this, and we're going to use it. We're going to adapt it a little bit. We're going to use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just brilliant. It's affecting. This is the last episode of the day that we're shooting, which is why I'm not just weeping buckets right now because I'm already drained. But I'm feeling it.
His face when he sees Lily, and you don't hear him say "oh," but you can just hear his voice crack.
You can hear his voice crack, and he himself, like the way he falls and the camera tilts and falls down with him is just such a strong filmmaking choice.
And then he grits his teeth like he can't, like there's so much hurt and anger simultaneously. And I think the image of Snape cradling Lily's body as baby Harry is just wailing in the crib is just one of the saddest things that's ever been put on film.
And the editing of cutting from that to him saying,
always.
This is the magic of movies. You can put two things that are separated by, 15 years?
Yeah.
Right next to each other.
To my point, as I recall in the book, Dumbledore says, "Don't tell me you come to care for the boy." And Snape says, "Him?" And then he goes Expecto Patronum, and in the movie he doesn't say him. Now that's important because if my theory is correct of how they're choosing to slightly deviate in the films, that Snape actually does care for Harry, and here's why.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me you come to care for the boy, and Snape just does his Patronus.
He cares for the part of Harry that is Lily.
You see that day when that one shot where Harry's crying in the crib and Snape is crying holding Lily. They both lost her that day.
Yep.
And that is what joins them. So is his love for Lily a tragic, unrequited romance, or is it an unhealthy obsession? It's not an unhealthy obsession. I will say that categorically. And the reason why is he never fought to sabotage Lily and James.
Right.
Or to claim her as his. The fact that he desired her and wanted to be with her and was devastated that she chose somebody else doesn't make it unhealthy. It makes it human.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy when he tries to force her to make that choice or to sabotage the relationship, right? The fact that you could carry a torch for somebody your entire life, especially Snape, who never experienced kindness from anyone but Lily, and then arguably, and then it's like a gang kid, like. They're recruited, and he's recruited into the Death Eaters, and this is a place where I can belong and feel cool. But those people don't know how to be kind. They don't know how to show real love. It's just a place of belonging and where you can excel and where you can do these incredible things and get this reinforcement. But Snape also, Dumbledore's pissed as hell at first, but then for the rest of his life, Dumbledore is his most ardent defender and supporter.
Yep.
What about Snape? Severus Snape.
As the council is very much aware, I've given evidence on this matter. Severus Snape was indeed a Death Eater, and prior to Lord Voldemort's downfall, turned spy for us at great personal risk. Today he's no more a Death Eater than I am.
Remains faithful to the Dark Lord.
After Lily, the only person who ever truly loves Snape is Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Which is why he's Dumbledore's man through and through. So to me, I will go back to our original question. Villain therapy or psychology of a hero? If it's the books, it's villain therapy, but it's a tragic villain who does some good. If it's the movies, to me, it's psychology of a hero.
He bullies kids. He's still a villain.
It's just the one kid that
he just
tortures the one kid. And I'm like, never mind.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you say it out loud? Okay, well, what are your thoughts down below on book Snape versus movie Snape, on Snape as a villain or Snape as a hero? We would love to hear from you and just what this story does for you. So until next time, turn to page 394.
Clearly, fame isn't everything.
And watch movies. Oh my gosh.
Movies.
I was totally unprepared for that. That was great.
Watch movies.